Hello everyone, this is Liv, straight from the Kalkine studio, and you're watching Go Green with Kalkine. Environmental, social and corporate governance, popularly known as ESG, is here to stay, and countries across the globe are on their toes to define the charter and the road ahead towards a carbon neutral economy. There are different strings attached to the overall green goal: renewables, climate change, carbon emissions target, green energy sources and the EV space. In this show, we touch on important and trending stories for you from the green sector and analyse what it means for people, governments and the economy. Today, we're going to talk about how the Australian government is tackling the adversities of climate change. Climate change is a long-standing issue in Australia, which is gaining more attention with events like the unprecedented Black Summer bushfires that ravaged large parts of the east coast of Australia in 2019 and 2020, as well as a rising average temperature. Recognising the security threats posed by climate change, policymakers are making steps towards transitioning the country towards a lower emissions future. Australia is one of the world's largest carbon emitters on a per capita basis and has pledged to cut its carbon emissions by 26 to 28% by 2030 as per the commitment with the Paris Accord. But the Morrison government has resisted calls to set a firm target of net zero emissions by 2050. On the contrary, the United States aims to halve its greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. Other major nations have vowed deeper reductions to carbon emission targets to tackle climate change. Amid growing pressure to set more ambitious carbon emissions targets, the Australian Prime Minister recently said that the country would achieve its net zero target as soon as possible. Let's look at the steps taken by the Australian government towards achieving its objectives of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Australia is boosting the spending on clean energy projects. The Australian government has recently proposed to spend an extra $565.8 million on hydrogen and carbon sequestration projects to help Canberra's commitment to reduce carbon emissions. The government's new commitment is expected to create additional jobs while reducing the nation's greenhouse gas emissions. The newest package is structured around co-funding international technology partnerships, generating between 3 to 5 Australian dollars of investment for every dollar put in. With this huge investment, a range of new international technology partnerships is set to make low-emission technologies affordable and foster investment in Australia-based projects that produce jobs. No doubt getting new energy technologies to parity will enable significant reductions in global emissions in both developed and developing countries. The government lists the US, Japan, Germany, UK and Korea as its potential partners in the Australian-based clean energy projects. Interestingly, these countries are already the trading and strategic partners of Australia. The Morrison government has recently announced an additional $100 million Australian dollar investment to help advance the protection of coastal and ocean habitats and to contribute to the global task of cutting emissions. The government's decision comes amid growing international criticism over its policies to tackle climate change. The latest investment package will target blue carbon ecosystems that include mangroves and seagrass, playing a crucial role in pulling carbon out of the atmosphere. Besides, the investment package will expand the Indigenous protected areas into sea country, support Australian marine parks and protect marine life. The Australian government expects its ocean economy to contribute 100 billion Australian dollars each year. Mr Morrison highlighted that the ocean economy supports around 400,000 jobs and can play a significant role in the country's efforts to cut emissions. The government's latest funding for ocean protection is likely to help the nation's unique marine ecosystems in enduring an onslaught from climate change, overfishing and pollution. But conservation scientists still warn that the ecosystems are facing major challenges. It should be noted that while the recently announced packages will help reduce Australia's carbon emissions, further steps are required to tackle climate change and to drastically lower greenhouse gas emissions. Collective and decisive actions of the government can play a crucial role in attaining such climate goals. Well, that's all for now. I'll be back soon for more updates across the clean energy space.